Good morning. Today we are here for the cross-examination of Advocate Ackermann. Mr. Masuku, I believe you are on record for Mr. Simelane, for Advocate Simelane.
That is correct, Chair.
Yes.
I have nothing.
Are we ready to proceed?
Chair, we're ready to proceed.
Yes.
Chair, before we proceed, yesterday you gave a direction to the parties cross-examining Mr. Ackerman to meet and come up with rough allocations of time.
Yes. Mr. Vani, I don't intend to put time limits for the cross-examination of a witness. But I do want to bring to the attention of a counsel that cross-examination should be pointed. We are dealing with a witness with health issues, and we may have to adjourn as is required by the witness when requested to do so, but I do not intend to put any time limitation to the cross-examination of Advocate Ackerman. But I do wish to bring to the attention of the cross-examiner that we are dealing with a witness with health issues and cross-examination should be pointed.
Yes, Chair, we accept entirely the importance of a focused cross-examination, and bearing in mind that what you are telling us, that the witness is not in good health, we accept that we will try our best to accommodate all the variables that are necessary to ensure that the cross-examination goes smoothly.
Yes.
And that we reach a decent hour to get to the bottom of
Yes.
the truth.
We have 5 parties for the cross-examination of Advocate Ackerman. We have Mr. Simelane, we have the Department of Justice, we have the South African Police Service, we have the National Prosecuting Authority, and we have the President. So all those should be accommodated within 2 days. Please bear that in mind.
If I may, Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a list that was sent out about the sequencing of the cross-examination.
Yes.
I did indicate yesterday to Ms. Tukwa that we will not be ready to cross-examine this morning.
Yes.
We had arranged with the SAPS people that we would swap with them.
Yes.
I have been informed by Mr. or Ms. Mutlalipule Rantu that they are stuck in the middle of nowhere in a train. So we will see how that goes. I'm hoping that they'll be here anytime soon, that
Yes.
the train issue will be resolved. I was just mentioning it as a
Yes.
matter of housekeeping. Thank you, Chair.
Yes. It has been brought to my attention, Ms. Moroka, that your cross-examination will only be conducted tomorrow.
And it is, for the record, it's going to be short. It's just that it is.
Thank you very much, Ms. Moroka. I'll keep you to your word in that
You
regard.
most certainly may, Chair.
Thank you.
Chairperson, I wonder if we can just respond to that question of sequencing. I'm advised from Cape Town that Mr. Ackerman has prepared for Mr. Simelane and the Minister today because he assumed that was the order, so he hasn't prepared for the other parties. So we just wish to place on record that this is inconveniencing Mr. Ackerman, and he wished he wishes the commissioners to be aware of that.
Yes.
And if I may add, it was my learned friend who asked for 2 weeks to prepare. So we're surprised that she now needs an extra day. We just wish to place that in record, Chair.
Yes. I mean, is it your submission, Mr. Vani, that Advocate Ackermann would not be able to be cross-examined today by any of the parties?
Chair, on that score, I would need to make contact with the team in Cape Town to establish that.
Yes. Please do so.
Perhaps we can commence with Mr. Similani's cross-examination, and during that period we will make contact.
Thank you. Mr. Masuku?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Commissioners. Good morning, Mr. Ackerman.
Wish to bring to the attention of the Commission relating to my evidence that Mr. Miche told me that it was Mr. Similani who informed him.
Sorry, Mr. Ackerman. I didn't hear you from the beginning. I don't think all of us, the recording wasn't coming well. So could you start from the beginning, what you're saying? I was greeting you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, but I started off
Can you
by...
hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. Ackerman. But I started off by greeting you. I said, hello, Mr. Ackerman.
Good day, good morning.
Yes.
As I said, there is a matter that I wish to bring to the attention of the Commission relating to my evidence that Mr. Miche told me that it was Mr. Similani who informed him to remove me from the TRC cases. Last night, I thought long and deep about that evidence, and my diaries that's still at the NPA should assist, but I still thought about the matter, and I realized that there might be room for a misunderstanding on my part. When Mr. Miche told me that he had decided to take me off the TRC cases, I told him that it was not his decision, but that he was instructed by the minister to do that. I had my reasons for saying that to him. And I gave him the background on how Mr. Similani had a meeting with Mr. Pikoli to discuss my removal. How there were cluster meetings discussing my removal by ministers and and Commissioner Salebi. And then I said, that is where the possibility came in for the existence of a misunderstanding. Mr. Miche said it was Mr. Similani who told him about me being persona non grata and the ministers, not the minister. And the ministers wanted to remove me, or words to that effect. And that this discussions with Mr. Similani took place at the airport. And Mr. Similani told him about this meetings. Now, the possibility does exist that Mr. Similani just explained to him the reasons why I should be taken off TRC cases, as he did probably with Mr. Pikoli. But I do not exclude the possibility that Mr. Miche did tell me that Advocate Similani requested my removal. I apologize to both Mr. Miche and Mr. Similani that my evidence and the matter caused problems. But as I say, there might be some misunderstanding between me and Mr. Michel. That what happened. That's what I want to state.
Thank you, Mr. Ackerman. But you understand that you are now under cross-examination, right?
Yes.
And in your own evidence, you anticipated that this very area you've just dealt with would be a subject of this cross-examination.
Of course.
And what you just said, you've pitched it at the level of misunderstanding. But I want to get to a point where we are comfortable with your view that this can be pitched at the level of a misunderstanding. We want to put questions to you that suggest that there was something more than just misunderstanding, that this was a contrived, carefully thought through position that you took because you wanted a scapegoat for the problem that this this commission is about.
You know, you said a lot. I did not look for a scapegoat.
Yes, we want to show you. I will ask you questions then that will determine whether or not this is just a misunderstanding and not a deliberate.
I understand that.
Yes. Have you ever met Smelane or spoken to him?
Yes, I have.
Do you recall the circumstances under which you met Smelane? And can you tell the commission how you met Smelane? And if you recall the conversations you had with him, can you please tell the commission that what conversations you had with him?
No, I can't, but I have vague memories about discussions I had. I know at some stage, after we've smoked a peace pipe, that I assisted him in making certain decisions regarding a fraud matter in Durban. I can think about another matter in Kimberley, fraud matters. He then asked me to go down to Kimberley and sort it out there. Anything to refresh my memory, and I can answer you.
Okay, but have you ever spoken to Mr. Smelane about the TRC cases at all?
I don't think so.
Yes. So when you are thinking about why the TRC matters are not progressing as you would have wanted them to progress, and when you're dealing with the challenges that you were faced with in your handling of these cases, not once did you speak to Advocate Smelane, either as DG or the NTPP. Am I correct?
That's correct. I think you're quite right. I've never, because there might be the. I don't know at what stage you're talking about this. I'm aware of what the directors of Betty said about TRC matters. I knew their views. I knew Mr. Salebi's view. And I don't know which context, but if I knew about that, I would not go to him and ask him for assistance.
Yes, but I want to put it to you that you've never discussed any TRC cases with Advocate Smelane.
I'll agree.
You've never informed him of the difficulties you are facing as the head of the PCLU, handling the TRC cases, of any difficulties that you are facing. You've never written a memo to him. You've never written a letter to him. You've never received a call from him about any of these TRC cases. Is that correct?
That's correct. But can you just refresh my memory? When did he become the National Director of Public Prosecutions?
No, I asked questions, Mr. Ackerman. I've asked you a question and you've given an answer that I'm comfortable with. That
No, but you know, it's important for me to know when Mr. Simelane was the National Director of Public Prosecutions. It's a simple question, not difficult to
Yes.
establish.
No, it's not difficult to establish, I accept that, but would that change the answer you've given to the question I specifically asked you?
Yes, if it's after 2007, October or September 2007, why will I approach you?
Sorry, then give your answer on the assumption that it was 2007. What would your answer be?
Well, okay, after September 2007, I will not approach him, and before 2007, I will also not approach him.
So on either timelines, your answer is that you've never spoken to Advocate Simelane, either as DG or the NDPP, on any cases that involve the TRC.
No, you know, if you give me a facts and refresh my memory, I might say yes.
Okay. Now, so Mr. Ackerman, it's quite surprising because in your evidence on the 5th of March, and it's in the transcript of that evidence on page 45, if you have access to that transcript, page 45, on the 5th of March, 2026. Do you have the transcript, Mr. Ackerman?
Somebody give it to me now. Yeah.
I see their hands showing on the screen. Is someone helping you there?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
I have Mr. Jos Venter here to give me the documents. I haven't got it.
Okay. Now, are you on page 45?
On page?
45 of that transcript.
Yes. Yes.
Right at the bottom, I think it's from line 15. You say, now, commissioners, I am of the view that the affidavit Mr. Simelane submitted to the commission is one of the most damning pieces of evidence to prove the existence of a political interference. Can you point us out?
Yes.
Yes. Can you point us out directly from that affidavit which aspect you regard as proof of existence of political interference?
No. What happened, on top of my head, Mr. Simelane stated in his affidavit that I am an apartheid prosecutor.
No,
And that-
Mr. Ackerman, no.
Yeah?
No. You say in your evidence that the affidavit submitted by Advocate Simelane to this commission is one of the most damning, not the damning, not, you say most damning.
May I have the affidavit, please?
Can I just finish, Mr. Ackerman? Is one of the most damning pieces of evidence to prove the existence of a political interference. All I'm asking you to do is to go to that affidavit that was submitted to the Commission of Advocate Simelane and point out to the Commission evidence you suggest proves the existence of political interference.
Then you know his affidavit by heart. Just can you go to the place where he refers to Ackermann being an apartheid prosecutor?
Okay, I'll stick with the recollection of that aspect. What about that allegation is evidence of political interference? How does that support your view that it's a damning piece of evidence to prove existence of political interference? We'll get to the idea, to your view of whether you're not an apartheid prosecutor or not. But you've given that, you pointed in your recollection, what I would regard as your best recollection of of evidence that you gave in respect of Mr. Smelani's affidavit that proves the existence of political interference. What about
Yeah,
what he
we
said?
must-
Go ahead,
We
Mr.
must
Ackerman.
just go a step back. It is common cause that Polly and I, that we were obstacles in the prosecution of TRC cases.
It is not common cause to us. It's not, certainly not common cause to Mr. Smelane. But can you answer the question? What
Yes,
about in the
it will take me
affidavit?
some time.
Okay, we have time.
Now, they had to find a reason
Who?
that, well, the persons who forged
Mr.
letters,
Mr. Masuku, when the witness is explaining, you should not interrupt him.
No, Chair, I'm just clarifying a point that is necessary for the witness answer. I'm asking, he says, when they,
Mr.
and
Masuku,
I'm asking
you
who?
can follow it up.
Well, I'm not interrupting then, Chair, if it's a relevant question I'm asking. He can clarify it as he answers the question.
I am saying you interfere.
It's okay. Okay,
You interrupted.
I apologize, Commissioner Homo.
Okay.
I apologize, Mr. Ackerman, if I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
I am of the view there was a common purpose amongst Mr. Salebi, Mr. Samalani, the minister, the cluster ministers, to get rid of me. If you do not agree with that, you say, I don't agree.
I'm not the one under cross-examination. Give your evidence.
Right. They took various steps to get rid of me. They forged letters to discredit me. They hacked my computer to discredit me. They did not succeed, and their last resort was to say I'm an apartheid prosecutor and therefore the cluster is not happy with me and I should remove from the TRC matters. Now, the most damning evidence. If they prove that I am an apartheid prosecutor, I have no problems for them to remove me. It must be a valid reason. If they can't prove that I am an apartheid prosecutor, then the obvious question arises. Why did they do that?
Mr.
It can
Ackerman,
be yeah?
no, sorry, I'm interrupting you again, but I want to heed Commissioner
Homo.
Homo's admonition not to interrupt you. But you're making very serious allegations that I do not want to forget in sequence that you are accusing my client, Mr. Smelane, of. Are you accusing him of having forged a letter?
I don't
against
know
you?
who forged that letter.
But are you,
at least we know.
are you accusing Mr. Smelane of having forged a letter?
He did not forge that. He did not forge it.
Thank you.
I think
Are you also
that letter
accusing, just a
Can I
moment,
proceed? That letter was in possession of the police. Mr. Salebi was the commissioner, and Mr. Salebi and Mr. Simelane, just looking at the correspondence, were very close to each other,
no, but
writing letters.
Mr. Ackerman,
Mr. Ackerman, if the question is, did Mr. Similani forge the letter? the answer can be simply no or yes, and leave it.
No. I've no.
Are you also accusing Mr. Smelane of having been party to the forgery of the letter? He was part of a group that forged the letter. You've mentioned the minister, you mentioned. Okay, thank you. You're also not accusing Mr. Smelane of having hacked your computer.
No.
You only accusing Mr. Smelane of having removed you, or at least engineered your removal. Is
Yes.
that what you accuse him of? Okay, we'll get to that. But can I just go back to the evidence you gave at the beginning, when you said you recalled having a peace pipe discussion with Mr. Menzies Smelane. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what circumstances would have occasioned that kind of discussion in which you are smoking a peace pipe?
Yes.
I can tell you
I
Mr.
was
Smelane
also-
doesn't smoke at all.
Yeah, but I'm quite certain you know what I meant.
Yes,
He
I do,
knows.
I do.
Mr. Masuku, that's an expression.
Yes.
I'm sure you know it.
I'm sure that Mr. Ackerman knows that.
Yeah.
I was just pulling his leg.
I
yeah.
also do sometimes smoke a peace pipe and I don't smoke.
Okay. So we're in good company. Anyway, Mr. Ackerman was about to explain his peace pipe smoking session with Mr. Smelane.
Yeah. Before, can you just refresh my memory again? When did he become the National Director?
It was end of 2010.
End of 2010.
Yes. To 2011.
Okay. Okay.
Does that complicate your life, Mr. Ackerman?
Then at least I know I didn't discuss any TRC matters.
Yes.
But that
You said
is not what you're asking me. What you're asking me is about the peace pipe.
Yes.
Now, I was also the head and managing the missing persons task team. I was actively involved there. And when he arrived, there must have been that time, the Madeleine Fullard came to me and said, she believes that I'm going on a holiday trip to Austria. They have a bones or a skeleton that they wanted to analyze for DNA. And the only people that can do it is the teams in Herzegovina. And she asked me, is it possible for me to transport these bones without certificates transporting human bones and deliver it somewhere in Europe, close to Herzegovina? I said to her, listen, I was not on my itinerary list to go to Herzegovina or Croatia. But what I'll do, I can see if I can buy a budget airline ticket from Vienna to wherever close to Herzegovina, and then they can come and fetch these boats, which I did. I got a cheap ticket, I think it was something like $50, flew down to Split, stayed in a hotel. The people from Herzegovina drove through, met me at the hotel, and I delivered these bones, skeletons. I went back to Vienna, had a holiday there, got back to Pretoria, and then submitted a claim. The claim was minimal. It was a $50 ticket, airline ticket. It was a three-star hotel. It was the transport from the airport. I don't think it amounted, it was under 10,000, but you know, if I recall, it must be 6,000, 7,000. So I submitted and explained everything in this, why this, I asked for the approval only now for them, and if that is okay, you know, I received a letter back from him that he does not
From him
approve
who? From him who?
any,
Mr.
I can't hear.
Ackerman?
Yeah?
Mr. Ackerman, you say him, I say from him who?
Mr. Simelane writing to me that he's not going to prove it. I did not do it in time. Now, I knew that Mr. Simelane was not happy with me, and I didn't want to make a fuss about it because I realized that he's looking for a confrontation, and I left it at that. 6 hours, 7, 8 I spent and did it for a good cause. I may add that when the bodies or whatever were handed over, there was a ceremony, and Minister Khampepe made big hoo-ha in his speech about how the missing persons are working on these cases, and they made use of Herzegovina and all these people. I didn't say a word. I took it as a loss, took it as experience, write it off as experience. At some stage, Mr. Simelane then asked one of my juniors, and I'm talking under correction, as Mr. Sean Abrams, to have coffees, lunch, or whatever with him. I don't know what transpired there. Mr. Abrams came back to me. He told me at this coffee or lunch, I just gave him a look. I didn't ask him what it's all about. Because I know Mr. Abrams is a loyal employee of me, and he won't backstab me. After about a week or two, Mr. Simelane requested me to go to the International Prosecutors Association, a conference in The Hague. It was like he was giving me a holiday for a week.
Was that part of the peace pipe?
That was a peace pipe part, and I realized, whether rightly or wrongly, that he realized that his perception of me was not the right, and that's why he offered me this trip. Of course, I must say this trip, there was also some interaction I had with the security intelligence agencies of Rwanda, that I had, on his instructions, I had to discuss certain matters with them. But they were also at this conference. That is a peace pipe. And then suddenly, out of the blue, he called me in to assist him in this fraud matter. I don't know, the 9 pennies something. came to mind, and I explained to him that the charge sheet, there are too many accused. You can't conduct a prosecution with 20 or 10 accused. You never go to court. You will always find that there is one person up there and there will be a remand. And he agreed with me. Regarding the Kimberley matter, there were quite a few fraudulent matters that I then, I think I drafted the indictment, but I didn't conduct a prosecution. So, in fact, I was the only one that was happy when Mr. Simelane made the following decision, and I thought it was a very, very good decision. Conferences should not be held at five-star resorts to discuss strategy. He was the one that said from now on, meetings will be held at the VGN building and you can bring your own sandwiches. I just laughed because I never went to these conferences or strategic building, team buildings. And I was an impression that we worked well, notwithstanding the fact that there were articles saying that Ackermann is a prosecutor, apartheid's prosecutor. That's it. Anything else you would like to know?
No, no.
Chairperson, sorry.
Can I just...
Chairperson, sorry to interrupt, but we do need to clear up the starting date of NDP Simelane's period at the NPA. And I hope it doesn't make any difference to the evidence, but when Mr. Masuku asked Mr. Simelane when he started, he said end 2010, and I think beginning 2011. But according to Mr. Simelane's statement, paragraph 1, it's actually 2009. And I believe the official date was 1st of December 2009. We just wish to place that on record and hope that it doesn't interrupt the evidence.
Thank you. Mr. Masuku?
Yes, I will revisit that aspect later on, but there are more important issues that I need to converse with Mr. Ackerman, and I have to put these questions to him. On page 42 of the transcript, Mr. Ackerman, of the transcript, are you there?
Yeah.
You were dealing with the fact that at some point when you're preparing your statement for this commission, you had to decide what goes into that statement and what goes out of that statement. You recall that? You recall the evidence?
Yes, Mr. Barney came to see me at home.
You recall it?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And then I want to take you to paragraph, just from paragraph 10 of page 42, where you say
Line 10.
Line 10.
Line 10, I beg your pardon. Line 10. Just maybe starting from above line 10. Of course, then I gave evidence here. I stated that Mr. Mshe told me, when I said it is the minister, he said no. It was Mr. Simelane who told him. Now, I asked the council to remove that and have my reasons, and I wish to give you my reasons why I did that. Commissioners, in my life, I base all my decisions on probabilities. Every decision I make, I take the probabilities, and I anticipated a certain scenario. And the scenario that I anticipated is that there will be a civil court case in the Thembi Simelane matter, and that I will have to be a witness in that case, and my evidence will be to the effect that Mr. Mshe told me that it was Mr. Simelane who told him to take me off the TRC cases. I then had to take a decision as to what are the probabilities that Mr. Simelane was going to admit that he informed Mshe on the probabilities, I decided that it was nil. I have previous information about Mr. Smelane. Commissioners, of course, that is my opinion. That is how I saw it at the time, making my decision. And I was not so certain about his. I read quite a few court cases, and there was a Genoala Commission, and there was an interview I had with some newspaper. I think it was the Daily Mail. In any event, I made the decision that he was not anticipated. He was not going to admit it. Rightly so, because I see he does deny it. What is very hurtful for Mr. Smelane about your evidence is what follows. I say, rightly or wrongly, my opinion was then that he was not, that he was going to be untruthful of that subject.
Just a moment. Chair, I don't know. I have page 42, then it goes to page 44. I don't have page 43.
Oh, 43. Is it not double-sided?
No. But carry on, Mr. Masuku,
Yeah.
we'll sort it out.
And then you said that Mr. Smelane was going to be untruthful. Did you appreciate saying that? Did you appreciate saying that? Given what you just said at the beginning of your evidence, did you appreciate the impact of your statement that Mr. Smelane was going to be untruthful? Did you appreciate what implications that has on him professionally?
No, I was that was the reason why I had certain parts removed, and I'm still of the view that he is an untruthful person.
And what are you basing that on, Mr. Ackerman? What are you basing your view that Mr. Smelane is an untruthful person? What are you basing that on?
Let's start with the Genoala Commission.
You see, Mr. Ackerman, you in fact anticipated this. I'll show you who is untruthful in this case, and it is you. Because in the first place, you don't tell the truth about, in your statement to this commission. You do not tell the truth. What you do is you decide what you're going to do and you say you work with probabilities. And that's why you instruct your attorneys to remove the stuff about Smelane that you had put in there. You ask them to remove it because you were working with probabilities. You're not working with the truth. If you believed the truth, you would not have worked with probabilities. You've simply told the truth as you know it. You're not telling the truth when you're asking your attorneys to remove what you then came back in oral evidence and mentioned. You were untruthful.
What is the question?
I'm putting a statement to you. You are the one who is untruthful. You are untruthful because you work with probabilities. You don't work with the truth. You decide to wait until you get a response from Mr. Smelane and then decide what to say to the commission in oral evidence. Because if you believe that what you know is the truth, you'd have put it in your statement and allowed Mr. Smelane to respond to it in the statement. But you decided to remove it, to remove what you said in oral evidence that was not in your written statement, which is that Mr. Smelane is the one who said that Mr. Smelane was going to deny the allegation that he had instructed Mr. Mshe to remove you.
Are you finished?
Mr. Ackerman, I'm putting a statement to you. You're a senior counsel. Behave like one. You know, yes, when I put a statement to you.
Can I answer it?
Answer. You can respond.
Yes. What? I gave the reasons why I did not put it in. If there was a court case On the probabilities, I was of the view that both parties may deny it. Then I was of the view that the court will not accept my evidence and they will accept the evidence of these two prominent people in the legal fraternity. And I didn't want to give evidence on what happened. But what changed my mind was when I saw that the presiding judge was going to be a person of integrity that I can trust to make the correct finding. That is the reason why I then disclosed it.
Mr. Ackerman, when you put a statement under oath, do you accept that you are supposed to be telling the truth, nothing else but the truth?
I did tell the truth.
No, what you did, Mr. Ackerman, is that you told a convenient truth, in the sense that you selected what you wanted to tell the commission based on your predisposed views of Mr. Smelane, not on the truth.
Where did I not tell the truth?
Because Mr. Ackerman, right at the beginning of your long statement you gave at the beginning of your evidence today, you came to the conclusion that you pitched it at saying that it was a misunderstanding. Mr. Smelane is likely not to have been the one that told, well, that Mshe is not likely to have told you that Mr. Smelane is the one who asked that you be removed as in the TRC matters. Do you recall that?
Yeah, you know, I did it because I wanted to do the right thing.
Wait.
Huh?
I think we must do this properly. Do you recall that?
Refresh my memory. I have a very short-term memory span.
I think you're probably correct, Mr. Ackerman, because you said at the beginning of your evidence that you have reflected on the statements you made about, unfortunate statements you made about Mr. Smelane. And having read what Mshe has said, you come to the conclusion that there is room for misunderstanding. And the misunderstanding that you want the commission to accept is that you were wrong, that you might be wrong, not that you were wrong, because you don't say that you were wrong. You might be wrong. Correct. You might be wrong that Mr. Smelane or Mr. Mshe told you that Mr. Smelane was responsible for your removal. You recall that?
Yes.
Right. So I'm saying to you that if you read where I've just referred you to, the long paragraph that I read, there you were looking at strategies of presenting information to the commission. And your strategy was that you tell your attorneys or whoever was helping you draft the affidavit all the information, and they put that information in. Some of the information that they put was what you told them about Mr. Smelane having been responsible for your removal. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then at some point, when you started to do your calculations, your probabilities, and trying to figure out how it would look like, you decided, no, actually, take that out. Take that out because Mr. Smelane and Mr. Mshe, if they do not tell the truth, then I am in trouble. The credibility is going to depend on a judge. And you refer to that judge as a judge you can trust. You don't refer to a judge, you say a judge that you can trust. Do you understand what that means?
Chair, I don't want to interrupt the proceedings, but just so that we're all on the same page, we need to be clear that the affidavit in question is not the affidavit before the Commission, but the 2015 affidavit.
Yes, I think Mr. Ackerman understands that.
Yes, but I understand from Mr. Masuku that he's referring to the affidavit that Mr. Ackerman made before this Commission.
No.
Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Masuku, I may have missed it, but did Mr. Ackerman not say a judge is a judge of integrity, not a judge that he can trust? Maybe he said both of them, but he did speak of integrity.
Commissioner Khum, I may be wrong to have gone as far as saying a judge he can trust. But I believe that he said it's a judge whom he can trust to make the right decision.
Okay,
Yes, because he has integrity.
Yes,
yes, okay.
yes. Just from,
But Mr. Masuku, just to clarify the issue that Mr. Vani has raised, you are talking about the affidavit of 2015 and not the one that was before the commission.
yes, but what I'm saying is that when he gave his evidence, that's why I read from the transcript, it was, he himself says, I had to instruct my attorneys to remove certain information in my affidavit. And I believe that is the affidavit of this commission. Because that's I mean, we can go to that, where he specifically says that I then, okay, he said on page 43, just above 10, who is going to be the presiding officer, the judge, and he will have to make certain decisions. He's going to make a credibility decision on two prominent persons in the legal fraternity, which is something they said already. Now, against that, should he believe me, the word of a prosecutor of the old regime, I then made a decision that the odds are against me. Now, he made a decision to exclude certain information about
I
Mr.
did not.
Smelane.
Can you read my affidavit, what I stated?
Yes, Mr.
The affidavit, the 2015 affidavit, what did I state?
Yes, but are you on page 43 of the transcript?
Yes, I have 43.
Right. Can you then go to the middle of between?
Yes.
It's the middle of 10 and 20. Now, against that, should he believe the word of a prosecutor of the old regime? I then made a decision that the odds are against me. It is a 2-to-1 decision. 2 will state that I am not telling the truth, and it must be borne in mind that at that stage, I have been framed many a time, and I went through the mill in the department. Many false claims have been lodged against me during the time of my career. So I made the decision just to say it can be safely assumed that he received instructions from political instruction. I even recall exactly what I said. Now, commissioners, I also took out I took out, of course, another insurance against the evidence of Mr. Mshe and Smelane. In my affidavit to the commission, I also deliberately left out a very important fact that Mr. Mshe told me. He said that the meeting between himself and Smelane to discuss my removal from TRC's cases took place at an airport, and he stressed that it was not an informal meeting. Now, it would be very easy for the commission investigators to establish from which flight records whether Mr. Mshe or Smelane were together at an airport between the suspension of Mr. Smelane and the date I was removed from my duties. I think that's what it means. And then the chairperson says, which airport? He did not state. I did not want to elaborate on that. He just said it was at the airport. Now, how I remember it so vividly is at the time I thought by myself, in my experience, that is where underhand handovers and meetings take place, usually at the police, a petrol depot on the highway. There was a petrol there were petrol stations or at airports. But of course, I did not tell him that. But that is why I remembered it was at the airport. Now, I was right in that Mrs. Smelane denied that he told Mr. Mshe that, or no, he said in his statement he never had any discussion with any person. I do not know. I'm waiting for the statement of Mshe to hear what he's going to say about the matter, whether he's going to deny that he told me it was Mr. Smelane. So I'm saying when you read that statement, you don't have to go to the affidavit of 215. When you read what you just said before this commission, you said you specifically took out facts that you had pleaded elsewhere in an affidavit, or that you had told somebody, and you place them here as evidence, stuff that you'd taken out in an affidavit, or you'd instructed be removed from an affidavit. But you
I made sure that I did not commit perjury.
No, if you are a man with ethics, Mr. Ackerman, which I think you are, you would know that that's not how you draft an affidavit, or that's not how you present the truth. You don't present the truth as a strategy. You present the facts as you know them. And the facts as you know them are not presented here. What you did was engage in sophistry, engage in some devious way of trying to present information that would suit your view, your predetermined view. And that source of that view we'll probably discover later on. Your source of your view that Mr. Smelane is inherently untruthful, because that's what you mean by he's dishonest.
That is what I thought, that he is a dishonest person, and I'm still of that view.
No, we can't help you with that, Mr. Ackerman. Your thinking is your thinking. We can't help you with that kind of thinking. We just asked
Well, don't
you.
read.
Yeah, we can't help you with
Any
that kind of
person-
thinking. It's tragic that you think that way. But
Any
you have no
person-
basis. Can I finish, Mr. Ackerman? We can't help you with your thoughts about Mr. Smelane, because your thoughts are perhaps a reaction to your view that you are not an apartheid prosecutor. And we'll get to that point. Is that the reason you are angry with Mr. Smelane? That he reported that there are people in the cluster who believe that you're an apartheid prosecutor. Are you angry with him on that?
No, worse things have been said about me.
So you are okay being called an apartheid prosecutor?
I beg your pardon?
Are you okay with being called an apartheid prosecutor?
I can't hear you.
Are you okay with being called an apartheid prosecutor?
No, I'm not happy about that.
But Mr. Ackerman, you are an apartheid prosecutor. Why are you not okay with it?
I just want to go back to why I think Mr. Simelane is not a truthful person.
No.
You only have to read the
Advocate
transcript.
Ackerman, Advocate Ackerman, let's try and confine ourselves to the questions which are being put to you. Are you okay at being called an apartheid prosecutor?
No.
And why is that, Mr. Ackerman?
Well, apartheid prosecutor has a bad connotation.
Okay. Did you have you according to your professional, sorry, your CV, or what do they call it? Your background. You were a prosecutor during the apartheid state.
That is correct.
You served the apartheid state with distinction. You were regarded as a very meticulous prosecutor, weren't you?
It's their views.
Sorry?
I'm not sure, yes. I don't know what I mean. You
were a good
stated it, not me.
You were a good prosecutor during the apartheid system.
I did my best.
And the state of the apartheid state would have trusted a good prosecutor like you to give effect to its apartheid laws. Is that not right?
I don't know what I thought.
Sorry, are you saying you didn't know about what is it that you don't know?
What the apartheid state thought.
No, Mr. Ackerman, you are not naive. You know what the apartheids thought about good prosecutors like you.
I
That
don't
they
know.
can be trusted to enforce apartheid laws.
I did not enforce apartheid laws.
What did you not prosecute during the apartheid times?
That is correct.
Chair, I object to this line of questioning. If Mr. Masuka has information that in a particular case Mr. Ackerman enforce apartheid laws, you must put that up. It can't be put in a general fashion.
Mr. Masuku.
I am not going to respond to Mr. Vani's directive as to how I should cross-examine Mr. Ackerman. I don't need to point Mr. Ackerman to a specific case. He has a vast experience as an apartheid prosecutor. It's shocking that he's in fact wanting to turn it around and make it my responsibility to prove that he was a servant, or very loyal servant of the apartheid state. It's a very...
Mr. Masuku, can I just ask you this? I don't know the chair can rule. Does Mr. Vani have a right to object? He has objected, and the chair can rule on that.
Yes, I have given my response, Chair.
Yes. I think Mr. Vani's objection is overruled.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, may I interpose here? They asked me whether I was a loyal servant of the apartheid laws. And I said no. My Lord, Chair, you get two kinds of laws. Just laws and unjust laws. A just law, you have to obey. It's your moral duty to obey it. An unjust law, you do not have a moral duty to obey it. But not to obey it will have consequences. And I have refused to obey unjust laws. I was a young prosecutor, must have been 1977, 78. The Group Areas Act was still in force. Dockets of the Group Areas Act landed on my desk. I refused to prosecute any person. My senior referred it to Mr. Neil Rousseau, who then called me in and told me that's the law. And I said to him, I'm not going to apply that law anywhere. And it was held against me. That's it.
And how was it held against you, Mr. Ackerman? Because you, from what you say, you were in fact promoted to a fairly high office as a deputy AG, if I recall, in Durban and here in Gauteng.
That's
How
correct.
did you suffer for your, yes. So how did you suffer the consequences of your objection to the Group Areas Act?
Well, I don't know what's written in my report. I'm quite certain you have sight of all my, what's it called, quarterly reports about me. I don't know. You ask me. I didn't ask them to, the authorities that be to promote me.
You wanted to be promoted to higher office so you could enforce the laws that you were objecting to.
Yes.
Mr.
There must be
Ackerman,
somebody to stand up to these laws.
It's an astonishing statement you are making today. You know that if you were a conscientious objector of the apartheid state, you would not have served it at all as a prosecutor.
You're making a grave error.
Elucidate.
Let me read. Would like to read something out. You must bear with me. There, yeah, I have one. Mr. I think Masuka. I'm going to read out to you. Masuku, sorry.
No, it's okay, Mr. Ackerman.
I'm going to read out just 10 lines about the person. After matriculating, he joined the Department of Justice in a lower level position, serving as a court interpreter and a messenger. Over the 17 years, he worked continuously in the serious magistrates court, across Natal, beginning with 9 months in rural Impendle, then several years in Harding, and then stints in Camperdown, Howick, Stanger, and Deadway. During his early years as an interpreter and clerk, he developed a growing love for law as a means of solving at least some of the problems that confronted our people. And he became convinced that a legal education was a prerequisite to influencing the justice system. In 1970, he enrolled in the part-time correspondence program at University of South Africa, and he graduated with B.Juris LLB. At the same time, he rose through the ranks of the magistrate's offices, prosecutor and magistrate. Do you know who that person was?
I'm sure you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a former Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa, Pius Langa.
Yes, but that does.
He worked for this apartheid state for 17 years.
Right. We're talking about you, not the former Chief Justice Pius Langa. You have no idea what Justice Pius Langa went through during the apartheid system.
I know.
You cannot put yourself at the same level as the experience of Justice Langa. Yeah, but
I know.
Mr.
I've been on
Sorry.
circuit.
Sorry, Mr. Ackerman, Mr. Masuku, I don't know how far you would want to pursue this line of apartheid prosecutor. Are we going to go to apartheid judges and the negotiations about judges who served pre-1994 all had to, retire, and the negotiations that follow, it's difficult to define. Apartheid prosecutor,
no.
apartheid spy, I'm not so sure where this is going to help the commission. But I'm not saying don't pursue the line. I just can't see it.
Thank you, Justice Khum. The commission is looking at a very important but difficult time of South Africa. It's looking for reasons why cases that were supposed to be prosecuted during that, for crimes committed during the apartheid times were not prosecuted. And one of the reasons that Mr. Smelane gave, which is the reason why we are cross-examining Mr. Ackerman, Mr. Smelane said that there was general distrust of Mr. Ackerman because of his apartheid past. Mr. Ackerman has made very scandalous, unfair, and unfortunate allegations against Mr. Smelane for a debate that occurred during that time, which was a legitimate debate. Because, as you would know, Chair, who prosecuted these cases mattered. It was not going to be acceptable that it was not competency alone that was important. For example, if the prosecution of these cases were assigned to the prosecutor of the Rivonia trials, that would have caused problems. And so the debate about whether Mr. Ackerman was an apartheid prosecutor or not was suggesting that it was a legitimate debate. It was not a frivolous debate, as Mr. Ackerman would like to call it, or a debate that was scandalizing him. It was who prosecuted and what steps are they taking to prosecute? Who are they prosecuting? That was as important as the competency of that prosecutor. So I think the reason why this issue of apartheid prosecutors very, very difficult allegation for Mr. Ackerman to receive is because obviously nobody wants to be told they were racist, they supported the racist system. Now we're all, you know, in a constitutional democracy, they are no longer racists and they're no longer apartheid prosecutors. But he was an apartheid prosecutor. That's just as simple as that.
Mr. Masuku, I don't have Mr. Simulani's statement in front of me right now. I know it's been delivered to the Commission. Please remind me, is it the version of Mr. Simulani that the role of, let's call it, apartheid prosecutors and the dissatisfaction over Mr. Ackerman being an apartheid prosecutor is one of the reasons why he was removed?
It's not just it's not just Melane who said it. This discussion about him, he himself says the minister wanted him out. He says that DGs wanted him out. He says they even fabricated things to get him out. So it's not just Melane who says it. But Melane's affidavit says, I was in a meeting where we're dealing with why the TRC unit was not getting the investigative support that it needed in order to move forward with the prosecutions. And one of the reasons raised during that meeting was the distrust that they had of Mr. Ackerman. He was then asked to go and get a meeting with Advocate Pikoli. And he scheduled that meeting with Advocate Pikoli. He says that in his statement. And he said, Mr. Pikoli, the DGs want to meet with you, or the cluster wants to meet with you over this issue that is trapping the ability of investigators to support the TRC investigation. And it has something to do with Mr. Ackerman. And the issue of Mr. Ackerman is a problem. And Mr. Pikoli there and then told him that he was not going to remove Mr. Ackerman, but agreed to go to a meeting where that discussion was going to take place. Mr. Smelan says then that meeting took place and the discussion happened. So Mr. Ackerman would not be, that discussion about his past, unfortunately, is a discussion that is part and parcel of the TRC process.
Yes.
It's uncomfortable, and I understand, Justice Homo, that right now it's not, we will go to apartheid judges, we'll go to apartheid this and apartheid that. At some point, the country had to take a decision that the enemies, those who served the apartheid system, would now serve the constitutional state, and Mr. Ackerman was one of them. But for Mr. Ackerman to deny that he was a servant of the apartheid state is extraordinary.
Yes. Mr. Masuku, you can only take it so far in your cross-examination.
Yes, no, at that point, Chair, I completely accept that I will back down.
Yes.
And leave it there.
Yes. I think you've made your point.
But I just want to ask a couple more questions. They're maybe not more than three, Chair, on this apartheid issue, because it's very important. Because we believe that explains why there's such hostility on Mr. Ackerman towards Mr. Smelane. So, Mr. Ackerman, you had the discussion that or rather the remarks I was making in response to Justice Homo's question about my questioning. I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
No,
but if not,
we must not invite him to say anything. You were speaking to the commissioner.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Ackerman, can I then ask, would you regard yourself as a conscientious objector while you were a prosecutor, that you were in the same league as those young white citizens who refused to go to serve the army because they didn't believe in the system? Would you regard yourself as that at that level?
You know, ideological, I'm now looking at your question that was put. The ideological and ethical objections did not even enter my mind. I was 23 years old. I was married, no financial backing, and I had to put food on the table. I'm not a political animal, but I have genes in every cell of my body which inherited from my mother that told me what is wrong and what is right. I know that. I've lived according to my own personal values and my own personal principles. You know, when I stood in that court in Johannesburg when I was 24 years old, arguing that the police responsible for the death of Vilakazi, I knew there were going to be consequences, and there was consequences. I was transferred within a month from the Johannesburg Magistrates Court to the last outpost, English outpost in South Africa, that is Pietermaritzburg. And that is something at least that what Mr. Advocate Bezos told me was, makes you feel good about yourself, that you've done something.
But Mr.
I
Ackerman,
never, the question is, did I ever object? Can you perhaps tell me about where can I go to as a 24-year-old? Do I write to the minister and I say, I object to this job you're giving me? Do I go to the magistrates, I object to this where I'm working? Or do you expect me to resign with a bursary? You know, they gave me a bursary. I had to work for the reporters in Johannesburg. The building of the magistrate court was across Anglo-America. And every lunchtime, I looked at these smart, young, white males walking there in blue shoes and blue suits and brown shoes, and I wanted to work for them. But the opportunity never arose. I worked 40 years for the Department of Justice, 43. That is my position. I never object, but
okay. No, that's fine. I accept, Mr. Ackerman, that I think it's probably one of the most difficult questions you'll get from me, or one of the statements I'm going to put to you, which is that you are a diligent servant of the apartheid system. You don't like it, but all the facts you've put before this commission point to the one fact that you were a very loyal servant of the apartheid state. You were in fact promoted to a fairly senior position, and you found a place in the constitutional state because of the level at which you had been promoted by the apartheid state. So when the constitutional state came, you were in a position to be looked at as someone with the requisite skills to assist the transition from that order which you say you did not like to an order that liberated you. So you'd accept that statement, wouldn't you?
no, I accept it. Just suddenly came to mind being a good civil servant. I read my report for going off on health reasons. I took 2 days of leave in 2 days of sick leave in a period of 37 years. That's what Minister Radebe wrote in the report.
Yes. And then, but Mr. Ackerman, do you regard the discussion about who would be assigned the duty to conduct these TRC cases as a debate or a discussion within government that was legitimate?
Listen, if there was evidence that I was an apartheid prosecutor and that I prosecuted the comrades and I enjoyed prosecuting the comrades, then I can understand that they must have concerns. If I'm a prosecutor that proved himself to be positive about
So is
bus
the answer,
taxes.
is the answer to my question yes? The discussion about who would prosecute TRC cases was a legitimate discussion within government. Is the answer yes?
Yes.
And I think you're correct because you say that there would have had to be evidence of your past that could create doubt about your commitment to the values of the new constitutional order. Am I correct?
Yes.
And for that evidence to be obtained, there would have had to be a discussion, whether formal or informal, an inquiry into your past. Am I right?
Yes.
But you also came with a little bit of a burden. I'd say a burden you say you don't like, but you came with a burden of the past, which was that you had served as a diligent prosecutor in the Apartheid state. Sorry?
Burden or baggage?
I prefer burden, baggage. Burden or baggage. I'd choose any of the two. So you heard my question, Mr. Ackerman.
Are you not going back to where you come from, Mr. Masuku?
No, I'm almost closing, Chair.
Yes.
I'm almost really coming to the
I'm
end.
also keeping in mind the fact that you had 3 questions before you closed this aspect of your cross-examination.
Yes, Chair. So can the witness respond to the last question asked?
Yes. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, I have a short memory.
The question was, when the constitutional state was now looking for prosecutors who would carry the responsibility of prosecuting these these TRC cases, you came into the scene of that discussion as carrying the burden or the baggage of being an apartheid prosecutor. Am I correct?
I'm not prepared to answer that. What is my baggage?
No, it's fine, Mr. Ackerman. I think the commission can make what it makes of the question or the answer. But those who were tasked with managing the prosecution of the TRC cases would have had to be very careful about who they assigned the prosecution responsibilities to and who they assigned the investigative responsibilities to. Am I correct?
Yeah, I lost it already. Can you just come again?
I'm saying those who were tasked with managing the prosecution of the TRC cases would have had to pay attention to who is in fact the prosecutor of these cases, to know the person.
Are you now referring to, say, for instance, the committee of the directors generals, or is it the cabinet, or who are you?
No, Mr. Ackerman. Let me perhaps put it this way. When the prosecution of the TRC cases were assigned to the NPA, would you say that the NPA at the time, it was Mr. Bulelani Nguga, would have had to pay attention to who he assigned the duty to prosecute to?
Yes.
And if, for example, the prosecutor that was available to him turned out to have been the prosecutor that prosecuted Mandela, he would have had to say, no, I can't assign these kind of cases to this particular individual. Would you accept that?
Yeah, it would have been a bad choice.
Would have been a bad choice. And you would accept if he said, I am not going to accept this particular prosecutor, or I'm not going to assign these cases to this particular prosecutor because of his past.
I'll accept that.
Right. Now, if, for example, the NDPP at the time appointed the prosecutor that prosecuted Mandela, and this is theoretical, this is a an example.
Yeah. I
If he
don't know what you mean.
if he had assigned the duty to prosecute ANC and apartheid generals to the prosecutor of the Rivonia trial, and those who were being prosecuted objected to that prosecutor on the basis of his past, would that objection have been a valid objection?
They would not have succeeded.
No, but I'm saying, would they not have been justified in objecting?
Yes, I can object.
Yes.
I can understand that.
So I'm trying to get us to come down a little bit to a
Mr.
discussion.
Masuku, I must draw your attention to the fact that cross-examination must be pointed and must bear in mind the facts, the evidence which is before the commission. Ackermann was appointed by presidential proclamation. That is the evidence before us.
Yes, I'm not sure I said anything that appears to contradict that.
Yes, I mean your line of cross-examination is bordering towards that.
Okay. Mr. Ackerman, the chair has just reminded me that you were appointed by presidential proclamation.
That's correct.
I think in your affidavit somewhere, you talk about having gone through a security clearance process. Am I correct?
Yes.
You'd accept that when the President of the Republic was appointing you as a prosecutor to deal with these particular cases, would have considered whether or not you would serve the constitutional state faithfully?
Yes.
Right. That's true because in your I think it was in one of your in your affidavit, but I'll remind myself very clearly. In your affidavit, you say that if there was anything wrong, the security clearance process would have picked it up. Am I correct?
That's a job. That's why it's vetted.
Right.
I don't
Now, do you recall a complaint by Reverend Chikani?
Yes.
Do you recall that complaint raised, despite you having been appointed by the president and passed the security clearance, that a victim of the criminal deeds of the apartheid state expressed a view that, and I will read it for you. It's in
Which one is that?
it's attached to Mshe's affidavit.
May I just ask him to, so that I can have that document?
It's a letter dated 22 October 2007.
I see that, I think that document a night ago, 2 days ago. When was that?
I also
Yesterday?
received yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yes.
Right, give me a bit bigger. Yes, I have the letter here.
Okay, if you go to the third paragraph of that letter,
Yeah.
Reverend Chikani says the first point, or maybe we should just read from the beginning. As you would know, sorry, it's upside down in my computer. It says, as you would know, the case of those who were involved in my poisoning, namely Johannes Velde van der Merwe, Adrian Johannes Vlok, and he mentions all of them, was disposed of at the Pretoria High Court on 17 August 2007 through a plea bargaining arrangement between the accused and the state. Although I am pleased that we have concluded this matter, I am concerned about a number of issues which I would like to raise with you and hereby the government of the Republic of South Africa. I hope that you will find it necessary to share my concerns with Cabinet, as I believe that this will be helpful in handling other matters of a similar nature. The first point I would like to raise is the handling of this matter by the National Prosecuting Authority. From my interaction with the relevant officials within the NPA, it is clear to me that the said officials are simply the wrong people to deal with the post-TRC matters. What do you say about that view that Reverend Chikane was expressing?
He's talking about me.
Yes.
I don't agree with it.
Yes. Yeah, and I did expect that you'd say you don't agree with it, Mr. Ackerman. Bear with me. The reason you don't agree with it is because you believe that you were going to serve the constitutional state faithfully. I accept that. But with the question I asked, which I think will probably be the last question, Chair, on this issue of the Apartheid, is whether you believe that concerns raised by officials of government who were tasked with managing these post-TRC cases about your past were irresponsible concerns. Or irrelevant concerns.
You know, I think all accused appearing before certain judges are not happy about it. But that is now a given. You have to appear before that judge whether you like him or not. Now, I was the prosecutor, not making decisions. I cannot manipulate the law. I can just present the facts as presented in a police docket. And if I am doing certain irregular things in a high-profile case, it will immediately be picked up by the judge, the political authorities. I accept that.
Yes.
But I am a vehicle in this cock, in this whole prosecuting system.
Yes.
That's how I think about it.
Yes, and Mr. Ackerman, what I then want to do is so that perhaps at some point when you reflect further on the grave injustice you have done to Mrs. Melane, you would realize that what he conveyed to Mr. Pikoli were not his views. These were views that were expressed that had been expressed by Silebe. You said it yourself. They had been expressed by the DG of NIA, Mr. Manzini. They had been expressed in the DG's meeting. He was simply telling Pikoli the views that had been expressed as being potentially responsible for why there were there was no support for investigations towards these TRC cases. That's what Melane simply did.
I agree that he was just the messenger. In a sense, when I spoke to Mr. Nche, I said to him, it's not Mr. How did I state it? It was, in any event, I realized that he's just a messenger, so I couldn't believe that he was the person who, in fact, thought about this matter. And if I apologized if I harmed his career, his future career.
Thank you, Mr. Ackerman, for that. And then, of
Mr.
course,
Masuku, have
sorry.
you finished this aspect of your cross-examination?
Yes, I am now moving towards another
Yes.
aspect.
May I just make an investigation from Advocate Ackerman if he is happy to proceed until 11 o'clock, or this would be an appropriate time to take a short adjournment in the light of his health.
Can we proceed, and I'll tell you when I'm really not.
Yes.
I want to get rid of this.
Yes, Mr. Masuku will aim to take a tea adjournment at 11 o'clock.
At 11 o'clock. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Ackerman. Mr. Ackerman, so I'm sure Mr. Smelane is here and is listening to your apology, and in the heat of things do get said that can have far-reaching consequences for other people's lives. But so he appreciates your apology. But here is another issue that we need to just go through so that we assist the Commission evaluate your evidence in relation to what you say Mr. Smelane's role was in the way these prosecutions occurred. Your evidence is not, and if you say yes, I'm happy with that. Your evidence is not that there was a single case that Mr. Smelane interfered with, to your knowledge, that you were responsible for as a member of the PCLU.
I think there was only one case, but I don't know of any case. No, he didn't interfere. I didn't have any interaction with him pertaining to TRC cases. I can't recall.
But you would not have been told by anybody that Mr. Smelane's conversation with Pikoli about how to resolve the issue of the reluctance of investigators to support your PCLU was in fact an act of sabotage. Let me put it that way.
You know, Mr. Pikoli discussed a lot of things with me. I can't recall anything, but something might come up.
Yes, but because I'm trying to get to that conversation you had, even if the conversation were to be correctly recorded, would you have considered that conversation to have been responsible for the way in which the TRC turned out? I mean, would you consider it to have been interference with the prosecution of the TRC cases that were there?
On the part of Mr. Smelane.
Or on the part of Mr. Smelane, yes.
You know, except for, I don't know what role he played. I believe there's a Director General's Committee and there is a cluster meetings. I have no insight in those meetings and what was decided there. I don't even know whether he was present, but I know it was a general consensus that there was political interference in it. I don't know if he was a member of all those committees.
Okay, so if you are looking at Mr. Smelane as a collective, in the sense of a member of a Director General and a member of the Forum of the DGs or the cluster, would you accept his assurance that every meeting that he was involved in, where discussions about these DRC matters were involved, was a discussion in which they were genuinely looked for solutions towards that would support the investigative, the investigation of these TRC cases and subsequently the prosecution of those cases? That they were genuine. There was no professional or personal interest in sabotaging a national responsibility to prosecute apartheid crimes. Would you accept that?
No, I think there was some interference when the threat by FEL, the Foundation for Equality Before the Law, General van der Merwe's organization, Wagenaar's intervention, informed the ANC that if any security branch person is prosecuted, they are going to prosecute the ANC 37. And that they are possession of a docket proving beyond any doubt that there is a case against the ANC 37.
Yes.
And I think from that moment on, and it makes sense to me that the ANC 7 or the powers to be to take steps to prevent a prosecution of the perpetrators in the Chakani matter. The fact that they were concerned, at least that must be common purpose, common cause. They knew about it. It was discussed at every meeting. So to say that they did not interfere in any case is simply not true.
Yes, so I'm trying to reflect on I'm trying to get you to accept that the DGs as the implementing agents of the government decision to prosecute these TRC cases were people who genuinely, in good faith, sought solutions to the problem. They may have been wrong they may have been wrong. I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that their solutions were perfect. I'm saying, but they were genuinely engaged in a process of trying to find solutions in order to get these TRC cases moving.
What was the solution for investigating these matters? How?
Provide
Did you
more
go to the Minister of Police stating, please appoint investigating officers?
Yes.
They did just the opposite. Commissioner Salebi said his policemen will not investigate TRC matters till Ackermann is there. That's how I understood it.
And that's how the solution that was proposed was that you are moved out of the position, because then the investigators could be provided.
Yeah, but you know, that is, in a just society, that is not how matters are settled. Every time the commissioner decides that he's not going to do that, then the politicians will sort something out. That's not the work of the politicians. Police are there in terms of the act to investigate crime. And as I stated, I don't regard these as TRC cases. The TRC process is history. We're now at the stage we're prosecuting people who committed crimes and who have not received amnesty. Full stop. I know the argument is, yeah, these are TRC cases. It might be true, but victims are interested in the prosecution of these cases. The public is interested to prosecute, these matters should be prosecuted. That's how I see it. It's a simple matter.
Yes. So what I really was trying to get you to appreciate is that you're not the only person in the system that was set up in order to deal with these TRC or post-TRC cases that was genuinely looking for solutions, that there was no deliberate government scheme which was manufactured in highways and byways and airports.
Would you know about the government scheme?
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, Mr. Holm.
Would Mr. Advocate Ackerman know about the government scheme? That's
think he would.
broad. That's very broad.
I think he would say if you didn't understand it. But what I mean is the government plan, the government, that there was no deliberate. There was, no. So what I'm trying to say is that Mr. Ackerman should not think that the DGs, who were servants of the constitutional state, the minister, the president, were all sitting somewhere, cooking up a scheme to sabotage the prosecution of this scheme, of this trial. I'm trying to get him to understand that they were also, even if you come to the conclusion that they got it wrong, that the motivation for their engagement with his past in these TRC cases was was aimed not at sabotaging the TRC cases.
Chair,
Well,
aspect government scheme, he can answer, but I can't see how it can advance what
no,
we're trying
Judge
to
Justice
resolve
Homo,
here in this commission.
Justice Homo, I really don't want to waste your time. I mean, if this question is irrelevant for what you're doing, I'll move past and ask another question. Yes. Mr. Ackerman, I'm sure you've read the book that Mr. Piccoli wrote, My Second Initiation. You remember that book? Have you read
you know
it?
what? No, but I've read the relevant parts.
The relevant parts. You'd have read those parts about you.
No, yeah, obviously.
Chair,
I didn't
can
look
we
at the
ask,
back of my name. Why I read about it, somebody said to me, "Did you hear what your former boss say about you?" I said, "No." He said, and I said to the person, "Oh, it must be a good write-up on me." And on the contrary, when I read it, he said I'm a very brash and abrasive person. That's a part what I read, not very complimentary about me, but that's it. I might add, when I read it, I thought by myself, Mr. Piccoli made use of a person who is brash and abrasive to do all his operational work. I haven't read the whole book. I just read about what he. If I can recall, there are quite a few things that he incorrectly stated.
Advocate Ackerman, if I may just interpose here, the question is, have you read the book? Yes or no?
No, I haven't. No, I have read 4 pages.
Yes, so you haven't read the book.
No.
Yes.
Chip,
That doesn't mean he has read the book.
Chair,
Yes.
with respect, it's custom in this commission to provide a bundle up front of documents to be relied on. My learned friends have not provided a bundle. I see he's now reading from some arbitrary page in the book. It would have been very helpful if that bundle had been provided up front so we can find it as well.
I will get a copy. Commissioners.
Well, it's not helping to get us a copy, at tea time when the question is being put now.
With respect, it's not the first time that such has happened. My learned friend, when I was here, there were certain documents he didn't have. Yes. And we agreed that he could give those documents later. Yes. So he cannot come here and bully me around about this aspect.
Thank you, Ms. Moroka. Mr. Masuku, what do you say to his response that he has not paid the book, save for 4 pages?
There's another way to ask this question because it's contained in Mr. Smelane's statement.
Yes.
Can I ask it via that statement?
Via Mr. Smelane's statement.
Which is confirmed in the book itself. Mr. Smelane's statement, if you recall, Mr. Ackerman, says that in one of the meetings, you presented a picture of how you intended to conduct this prosecution, and you're going to prosecute on one side, and then you're going to prosecute on the other side. Meaning, on one side, you're going to prosecute generals of the apartheid system or the servants of the apartheid system, and on the other side, you're going to prosecute the ANC liberation or the liberation groups. Do you recall that statement from Mr. Smelane's statement?
No, I can't recall it.
Do you perhaps want us to go there, the statement of Mr. Smelane, so that we we read it.
Thank you, Chair.
Can I just find this minutes? Sorry, it's in paragraph 39 of Mr. Smelane's statement. It reads, Ackermann then reiterated the NPA's approach, that the NPA's approach is that they would be proceeding to prosecute this side and then that and then this side until everyone on the list was prosecuted. Advocate Pikele also reiterated the general mandate of the PCLU, which the members understood it to be an explanation and justification of what Ackermann had just indicated. Advocate Pikoli then indicated that if the members insisted on the removal of Ackermann from the TRC cases, then he will remove him, but that he will seek his counsel anytime if he needed it. You saw that.
May I have some time just to read this? Where did this meeting take place?
According to Mr. Smelane, it was the meeting that took place
Westwood.
well, sorry, the paragraph I referred you to doesn't say where the meeting took place. But do you recall that you had a plan to prosecute these cases, which you conveyed in a meeting, wherever that meeting happened, where you would prosecute from one side and then the other?
No, I don't know about that meeting, but what I can state is since 2003, I've presented about 10 audit reports, cases ready. What we're going to do about the cases, how many cases we have. You can go and read the affidavits by his reports by McAdam. There were many cases, and we had a strategy. I think you can start off, I'm just thinking about the date. Is there 115 May 23? There are even one in February 2003, but it's correct. The statement like that was probably made that we are going to peruse all the cases and then decide who to prosecute. And I accept that there must be somebody on the ANC side or the Liberation Movement side. There will be cases on the security branch side that we're going to prosecute. You know, it follows, if you read all the TRC cases, that there will be cases on both sides of the spectrum.
Yes. So when you gave evidence on that aspect of this aspect of Mr. Smelane's statement, I will just find it. I believe you used quite strong words. Sorry. No, in fact, you do say that you don't recall such a, when you talk about you say you don't recall this meeting. You don't recall this meeting where you presented that, but Mr. Smelane does recall a meeting where you made this presentation, that there would be prosecutions on both sides. And that is what he says created quite a bit of a discussion about the ANC's, your inclusion of the liberators in that list of people that you're going to prosecute.
Chair, I've stated in my evidence that I cannot recall one of the meetings that he is referring to in his affidavit, stating, I can't recall a West Wing meeting. I cannot recall a meeting where there was disorder. I cannot recall a meeting where I sat next to Mr. Piccoli and gave them a list of people. I cannot recall those meetings. Mr. Simelane says these minutes are available. And I've asked the relevant authorities to furnish us with those meetings because I haven't met Mr. Selebi. I haven't met these ministers. And if you read his affidavit, it is about where I sat right next to Mr. Piccoli, informing the persons that I'm going to prosecute this list. They're sitting in front of me, that I informing him that we're investigating them and we're going to prosecute them. You know, I might be undiplomatic, but I'm not stupid. To inform these people that I'm going to prosecute them, whilst at the back of my mind, I know they're stating it, that I'm investigating them, and Mr. Piccoli is denying that we investigated. And these cases never appear anywhere, or on any report we submitted to the minister, to any report we submitted to Mr. Ramayiti, does it appear about this list and the people that, the ANC people we are investigating. It's a mystery to me that he could make statements like that.
Mr. Ackerman, he could make those statements because, unlike you, he recalls that meeting in the detail that he has given. Would you accept that he remembers, you don't?
That is correct, but at this meeting there were ministers and Mr. Piccoli, and they all were...
He never said they were ministers. He never said they were ministers.
I thought it was a West Wing. It was a West Wing meeting.
But he didn't say there were ministers there.
Well, you know, if you can tell me the meeting, I might even then concede it. But I can't recall such a meeting. And I know he can recall it.
Yes.
But what he stated happened at that meeting, not recalling it, I says it didn't happen. I will never sit next to Mr. Piccoli and then informing the people, the potential
Mr.
accused.
Ackerman, Mr. Ackerman.
You have said it, you don't have to repeat it.
Chair, it's 11. Would that be a
Yes.
good time to?
Yes. Will you be moving to a different point?
Yes, they're all sort of interrelated, Chair, so it will simply
Yes.
go into another
How
topic.
long do you envisage to be in your cross-examination? In as much as I haven't allocated time for cross-examination, we've got to be alive to the fact that there are quite a number of people who have been given the right to cross-examine.
I understand, Chair. Chair, I honestly, given how this morning has gone, I tried to get as short questions as I can. But Mr. Ackerman has a lot to say, so it really depends on Or maybe I should be a
I
bit
know
more
you are
firm.
only as long as the answers you get in
Yes.
response to your cross-examination.
Yes.
But
And
how
Mr. Ackerman
long
would help
How
too.
long do you envisage to be in your cross-examination?
It's a hard one. Could I say?
We've got to adjourn at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
You are aware of that.
Yes. Chair, if I said up to 1 o'clock, would that be too stingy with the time?
Yes,
Because in light of
that would be quite unreasonable to the other people who must cross-examine Mr. Ackerman, given the time that we have allocated for this cross-examination of 5 interested parties.
Chair, then can I then maybe respond when we come back from?
Yes.
Because then
Yes,
I
you
can collect
may.
my thoughts properly.
We are adjourned until 11:20. Mr. Masuku?
Thank you, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. I'm not sure if Mr. Ackerman is there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Ackerman, I will put certain positions to you that Mr. Smelane has instructed me to put, which relate to your recollection of meetings with him. Mr. Smelane makes it absolutely clear, and this is going to be his evidence, that he has never met you in person and shaken your hand alone and had a discussion of the nature that you suggest you had.
He says he never had any discussions with me on any matter.
Not when you're alone.
No, I deny that.
Okay. And then he says that there would have been no reason for you to meet because you have a supervisor, someone that you report to, and if you were to, if you had any issue that you needed to deal with that related to your core functions, you would have had to deal firstly with your supervisor before coming to him. And he's never had that kind of meeting with you.
I deny that.
And then he also says that he would have had no reason to smoke any peace pipe with you because there was nothing on which to smoke a pipe with you.
Well, I regard it as a peace pipe, this nice trip to The Hague. And thereafter he called me in at least 3 times to discuss a prosecution of fraud matter, I think a councillor or a MP, a fraud matter especially. And I think I had to go down to Durban on his instructions to talk to the prosecutors, and I think he was there too. I also had, he gave me personally a brief to take some junior prosecutor and prosecute these matters in Kimberley. Let me not think what else. We had at executive meetings, of course there were then other people present, but we did talk. Oh, and of course, when I came back from The Hague, he asked me specifically about the 2 intelligence offers of Rwanda that I had to meet there. And I came back and I sat alone with him and I told him what these intelligence officers told me. I'm just thinking now about meetings that I had with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So his instructions are that you did not have, the way in which the NDPP, at least during his time, functioned, was such that there would have been no need for you to meet him directly on your core functions, that you would have to, whatever was conveyed to him about your work via your supervisor. That he never never sat across the table or in a corner with you and had a private discussion about any of the functions that were your core functions.
I deny it. I did not discuss any TRC matter with him.
Yes, we know that. But so he also says that well, perhaps I should not say, do you accept that there was a supervisor, you had a supervisor that reported to Mr. Smelane?
Dr. Ramaiti.
Right. So it would have been Dr. Ramaite that would have spoken to Advocate Smelane about issues relating to your trip. There would have been a motivation for why you needed to go to a trip, a memo, and that would have been motivated by your supervisor, and he would have had to consider it, and he would have had to apply his mind and possibly authorize it, as in this case it appears he did.
Well, I accept that. I went to The Hague.
But he says that he never, coming back from The Hague, never sat down with you and asked you for any feedback of the nature you are suggesting he did.
There's no doubt in my mind. I'm 100% sure I had to report back about these two Rwandan intelligence agents.
Except that you had to report back, but you had to report back via a supervisor, not directly to him. So there was no opportunity for you to go to him directly, the two of you, to engage with each other on that kind of work.
Dr. Ramayiti did not even know about this side issue about the Rwandan intelligence officers.
Okay. I'm going to move to another issue, and please bear with me because it's also an issue that might raise a bit of temperatures. You suggested that you've got experience, and it's in your testimony, the transcript. I understand there's a cross-examination transcript, and it's the transcript of the 5th of March, where you say that, and I accept that we've dealt with substantially with the other issues that may be relating to your meeting with Mshe, but on page 44, now, yeah, page 44, where you claim to have this conversation with Mshe, where Mshe told you that he had an informal conversation with Melane at the airport. And you suggested that, you put it across as a possibility to find out from the flight, flight records, whether there was such a meeting of the two. And you say, now how I remember is so vividly, is at the time I thought myself, in my experience, that is where underhand handovers and meetings take place, usually at police station. What is that kind of experience? What's that experience? Were you directly involved in that experience? What are you saying there?
What I'm saying is, in my 40 years as a prosecutor, I read thousands of dockets. Now let's go to Pietermaritzburg. In Pietermaritzburg, the dockets I read was when drug dealers making a deal usually fly from, that's not what I read in these dockets, fly from Johannesburg to Cape Town, to Johannesburg to Durban, and then the deal will be done on the airport.
Sorry, Mr. Ackerman, are you talking about dockets involving criminals?
Yeah.
So you're saying that from your reading of dockets, you are aware that crime was being planned and executed in these places?
Yeah.
And on what
Especially
basis?
diamond deals.
On what basis do you suggest that Mr. Smelane and Mr. Mshe would have been involved in this kind of operation?
No, I didn't say that. What I was thinking when he spoke about they spoke at this meeting at the airport, it just automatically think, yes, that's where exactly they will discuss my removal.
And that would
it won't be a personal meeting. It won't be a formal meeting.
Okay. But Mr. Smelane denies completely that he has ever been involved in this kind of activity that you suggest in your evidence, that he was involved in an informal meeting with Mshe to discuss anything that was illegal or anything that was criminal.
You know, I simply said, I was informed by Mr. Mshe that he, in fact, had a meeting with Mr. Simelane at the airport, he stressed it was not a formal meeting, and at this meeting, Mr. Simelane told him about the fact that I'm a persona non grata and that the ministers are not happy about me doing TRC cases and that I must be taken off.
Yes, we now know the truth,
Yeah.
Mr. Ackerman, but what you say in that paragraph gives it a sting. Your evidence gives it a sting. It suggests, from your knowledge of how criminals operate, that you are putting Mr. Simelane and Mr. Mshe in the same category as these criminals you've come to know who operate in the highways and petrol stations and at airports.
Not at all, not at all. If I gave that impression, I profusely apologize to them that I gave that impression that they drug dealers or diamond smugglers.
And just so I'm almost at the end of my cross-examination, Chair.
Yes.
Just so we can wrap up what this cross-examination, Mr. Simelane's evidence about you, Mr. Ackerman, is going to be that he actually never met you. He had no opinion of the nature that you now describe, which is that he could have been involved in some sleazy, unethical methods of trying to get rid of you in order to stop you from performing your functions. He has never met you in person. He's met you, he's seen you in meetings, yes, but not alone.
I deny that.
Yes.
The 3 years that I worked there, he never met me and spoke to me in person.
Yes, that's not you
I deny
alone.
it.
Not you alone. You must understand.
I deny it. I was alone. I was alone with him in his office.
Okay. So Mr. Ackerman, from your evidence, can you accept that Mr. Simelane had absolutely no role in interfering at all with your ability to prosecute TRC cases?
No, I only had it on everything hearsay I heard from Mr. Piccoli, hearsay.
Yes, but you don't have personal knowledge of having seen a document, had a conversation, seen any report, written any report, or responded to any report by Mr. Simelane in which you are saying, please don't prosecute these TRC cases.
Correct.
And he will say that there's not a prosecutor that will that will have that kind of evidence which suggests that he stopped the prosecution of a prosecution generally, but a prosecution of the TRC cases.
I have no knowledge. I haven't heard about it. I have no knowledge.
Like you, Mr. Ackerman, Mr. Simelane believes in prosecutorial independence.
Good.
And like you, Mr. Ackerman, he believes that as DG of Justice, he executed his duties with a commendable level of integrity during a fairly difficult time of the country.
That's not my memory where I read the Inwala Commission that he was not involved in anything.
No, your refuge in Jinwara is astonishing. And that's the only place you can find your refuge of trying to scandalize Mr. Simelane. But let me finish, Mr. Ackerman. It's a fairly irresponsible analysis of your understanding of Jinwala. Jinwala had nothing to do with what this commission is about. Ginwala Commission,
but-
Ginwala inquiry had nothing to do with what this commission is about. The Ginwala inquiry was looking at the fitness for office of Advocate Pikoli. It had nothing to do with the fitness of office for Advocate Smelane. Do you accept that?
Yes, but I've read his verbatim evidence when cross-examined by Mr. Wim Trengro. And on that, I based my opinion.
Yes.
But
No,
not that's only, that's the, there are many articles written that I've read in the newspaper, Mail and Guardian, there was an article and everybody can go and read it. I think the heading says, the incredible Mr. Simelane, where he had lunches with state advocates. In fact, he was asked 20 questions and he replied to those questions. Those are the facts, whether they turn out that I based my opinion on.
No, Mr. Ackerman, you are not just a seasoned legal practitioner. You are also old. You're mature. Let's behave like that. You cannot suggest today that you are coming to this commission to tell them about the Ginwala findings as relevant to their assessment of whether Mr. Smelane interfered with the prosecution of these cases. Is that what you're trying to do?
No. You are telling that he is an honest person. And I'm doing that. You know, you should not ask those questions because I'm of the opinion that he is an untruthful person.
No,
now you're asking me again.
No. We have that on record. It's going to be there for the ages. But you'll prove yourself to be a very untruthful person whose training under the apartheid system is not helping you, because you can fabricate evidence in order to scandalize a person's career and affect a person's career. Your basis for saying Mr. Smelane is not a truthful person is of no relevance to this commission because it's based entirely on the remarks made by Ginwala in her commission, in her inquiry.
I'm not talking about
sorry. It's also based on media reports. How do they help this commission assess the evidence, your evidence, of Mr. Smelane's role in the TRC cases?
Well, I spoke about the TRC cases. I said he had played no role.
No. So Mr. Ackerman, any gratuitous statement you are making about Smelane is just being really mean and unnecessary.
English.
Well,
I'm just quoting Major General Julius Mkwenazi, English. Sorry.
Yes, no, it can have a disorganizing effect sometimes.
Yes. I think you've made this point, Mr. Masuku.
Yes. So it's said, Mr. Ackerman, that we can end. I was hoping that would end on a note of fairly professionals looking at each other in the eye and saying, well, you know, I read things about you that you are an apartheid prosecutor. I've never met you. And I could formulate all sorts of views about what has been written about you. But it would be quite irresponsible to give it as evidence before a commission that must evaluate that evidence when it's completely irrelevant. The Ginwala findings are completely irrelevant. Your assessment of Mr. Smelane as being an untruthful person is a gratuitous attack on him, and it's meant to show up your sense of credibility as a person who is standing guard for people who are looking for justice. It has nothing to do with the truth, and is everything to do with you just being mean and unkind when it's not necessary to be like that. Do you have a comment?
And I was trained by the apartheid system to be like that?
Yes, well, I mean, you tell us that you know that people cook up things in roads and in highways and byways, and that must have been how the apartheid system operated.
I don't see the relevance.
You try and criminalize decent people. You try and criminalize the work of people who were decent, who were doing their work competently and diligently when they were serving this country. And you want to come out smelling like a rose because you can say these things about people without any consequences. It's not right, Mr. Ackerman. Mr. Smelane has to come and defend his role. And right now, you've not been able to point to a single case that you can say Mr. Smelane interfered with in the TRC. Not a single one. Because you never interacted with him on TRC cases. It's irresponsible to form a view based on newspapers, come here and mischaracterize and attack someone's character and credibility based on what you've read in the newspapers and what you've read in opinions that are of other people. It's just such an irresponsible way of assisting this commission to evaluate Mr. Smelane's the evidence that this commission needs about Mr. Smelane's role in the TRC cases. You must tell the truth as you know it. Don't strategize.
Mr. Masugu,
Sorry, Chair.
I don't want to interfere with your line of cross-examination, but isn't that an issue for argument?
I would like, yes, it is an issue for argument,
Yes.
Chair. I'll accept it entirely. So just a final parting shot, Mr. Ackerman. The discussions by DG...
Respond.
No, if you don't want to respond, that's your choice, but I would like you to respond.
I do not want to respond.
Okay,
Being
and then the second thing...
Chair, with respect, these questions have been put, and Mr. Ackerman has responded to them previously. We will
Mr.
never
Vani?
end if...
Mr. Vani, I don't want to overrule you, but Mr. Ackerman Advocate Ackerman is here to respond. If he has already made a response, he will indicate to the commission.
Thank you, Chair. And then, Mr. Ackerman, there is room, as you put it, to extend to each other the presumption of integrity. So when you don't recall certain meetings that Mr. Smelane refers to, it's decent to say I don't recall those meetings. But it's also not right to suggest that his recollection of the meetings is dishonest.
It's just wrong. His memory is not good. I would never attended any of those meetings. Plus, I've seen him at least 3-4 times in person, sitting at the office. Now, what do you want me to say if he says that definitely did not happen? What do you think I'm then thinking?
Okay, no, I think I cannot take
Yes,
anything further unless let me
Thank
just
you.
find out my tuning.
yes.
Chair and Commissioners, we end it here with Mr. Ackerman, and we thank you for the opportunity to test his version of what he said about Advocate Smelane.
Thank you, Mr. Masugu.
Switch off your microphone.
Mr. Vani, any re-examination?
Thanks, Chair. We will try to keep it to the absolute minimum given the constraints on time. So we'll just confine ourselves to a small number of questions.
I was whispering, but not talking to you. I just wondered whether it's not more efficient with respect and with the leave of the chair that Mr. Vani does it right at the end. Otherwise, he's going to do piecemeal for all of us. I was just whispering
No, I
to
think
myself.
it's appropriate that he re-examines now.
Thank you, Chairperson. As mentioned, this is going to be very short. Mr. Ackerman, it was put to you by my learned friend, Mr. Masuku, that the Ginwala Commission had nothing to do with what is before this commission. Am I right in saying that one of the complaints that the government made against you was your handling, at least one of the complaints made against Mr. Pakoli was his handling of the TRC cases?
That's correct. It's in fact a charge against him.
Yes, indeed. And do you recall whether evidence was led on that and whether this subject matter appeared in the finding of the Ginwala Commission?
No, after he replied to the commission, because I was involved with the drafting of his reply, they abandoned the TRC charge.
Yes, and it is dealt with in the report of the Ginwala Commission from paragraph 209 of that finding. Let's then move to the question of the assertion put to you by my learned friend, for Mr. Simelane, that the source of your hostility against his client, Mr. Simelane, was that you had been accused of being an apartheid-era prosecutor. Now, can I ask you, while Mr. Simelane was Director General of Justice, did he ever accuse you of being an apartheid-era prosecutor?
I've not personally, but I read it in articles, and there are many articles, but the incredible Mr. Simelane article sticks out where he said, plus somebody at the office of the NPA said to me the following, but I don't want, it's hearsay evidence and I don't want to involve this woman, what she said to me, but I think it is common knowledge that he wanted to get rid of apartheid prosecutors.
So at any time while he was Director General of Justice and then subsequently as NDPP, did he put it to you that you were an apartheid-era prosecutor?
He never said it in my face.
Let's then turn to your evidence in relation to Detective Henny Brits. And this is in relation to the accusation that you are an apartheid-era prosecutor and therefore you should go. And here I'm relying on the memo dated 30th of October 2006 in Bundle 2 at page 123. Just give me that. You recall that you addressed a memo, I believe it was to the NDPP, and in it you dealt with some matters, including the question of this detective Henny Brits. Can you explain why you raised the question of Henny Brits?
Chair, they appointed him to assist me in the investigation of matters, of TRC matters. Now, Brits more than once tried to persuade me and my deputies that there was a provable case of terrorism against President Mbeki. And I told him more than once there is no case. Then he told me that, but General van der Merwe, I have a case. I said, well, get it. and we can peruse it. I see here I wrote a whole letter. I don't know which part you wanted me to read, but I was not happy for him to assist me in the investigation of TRC matters because he was inclined to refer me every time to the president's case. And I complained to the police, or I in fact stated at the task team meeting, I don't want to see him on the investigation of any matter concerning TRC matters.
Yes, no, we
Sorry,
don't have time to...
Sorry, Chair. In cross-examination, I did not deal with I didn't say anything about Mr. Pritz. Can I be allowed a minute when he's done with his re-examination
Yes,
to ask questions on Mr. Pritz?
yes.
Thank you.
Chairperson, it's in reaction to the claim that he's an apartheid-era prosecutor, which warranted his removal. And in this memo, Mr. Ackerman writes to Dr. Ramaita and objects to the appointment of Henny Brits because he's a former security branch officer who was bent on prosecuting the ANC. And the allegation is made by Mr. Ackerman that Mr. Brits went so far as to release documents to the former commissioner who was then head of the Foundation for the Equality for Law, former Commissioner van der Merwe. So it's in that context that we're putting this question to Mr. Ackerman.
Mr. Masugu, having regard to the context in which the issue of Henny Brits is being raised, I will not allow you an opportunity to cross-examine.
I accept that, Chair. But
Thank you.
Could I not respond to his context
Yes, you may.
before you rule
Yes.
me out? Chair, it's the issue of Mr. Ackerman's removal or motivation to have Mr. Brits removed as an investigator is raised in the context of trying to show Mr. Ackerman as having been somebody who was sensitive to the issue of apartheid investigators. The context is not, I know what he says that the context is different, but what he really wants the commission to see is that contrary to what Mrs. Milane says, Mr. Ackerman was not an apartheid prosecutor, and it was irrelevant that he was not an apartheid prosecutor because he identified apartheid investigators who he believed, who he could not trust because he believed they were still loyal to the apartheid system, and the steps he took shows that he's not an apartheid prosecutor.
Yes. Mr. Vani?
Well, and it's a legitimate question to put in re-examination, Chairperson. It has been put to Mr. Ackerman that the reason for his hostility against Mr. Simelane was because of the accusation of him being an apartheid prosecutor who had to be removed.
Yes, I will allow it. Thank
you, Chair. So, in the light of that, Mr. Ackerman, at paragraph 2.28 of that letter, you point out various matters that effectively that Mr. Brits was aligned with the former security branch and should be removed. Now, given that you have been accused of being an apartheid-era prosecutor, how does that align with your attempt to remove a detective who most clearly was an apartheid-era police officer?
Well, he proved himself to be one on the evidence, and that's why I asked him to be removed.
Okay, then let's turn to, and again, in the same context of you apparently being an apartheid-era prosecutor warranting removal, you gave evidence before this commission about your approach to a prosecution against Mr. Alan Busak, a well-known anti-apartheid activist. Commissioners, this is on page 62 of the transcript of Mr. Ackermann's evidence on the 5th of March 2026. It's day 18. I'm sure you remember the matter. There's no need for you to go find the transcript to save time, but can you remind the court what was your approach in that particular case?
Chair, to be alleged that the apartheid ministers used me, but I was flown up on a certain date, and there was a meeting, and they asked me to draft an indictment. I perused this document, and the next morning I gave my report and told them it's a simple matter. It's economical crime that is committed. This was for protests. And it was clear to me that the people sitting there was not satisfied with my view on the matter. And I was flown down to Malmesbury, did the bail application, and I was then taken off. It was clear to me that the powers to be, and that was, I think, Minister Khampepe, what was it? He was a minister, that they wanted to have a show trial again with lots of people involved. I was not prepared to do it, and I was taken off.
They wanted you to charge him with what?
I beg your pardon?
With what did they want you to charge Dr. Busak?
Chair, a grand conspiracy trial that he was formed a common purpose with...
Not everything, just the description of the crime, like terrorism or whatever that may be.
Chair, what Mr. Busak did was the following. He went and organized...
No, you don't follow.
Yeah.
You say,
I don't know.
Listen. You say, according to you, it was a commercial offense and not what? And not what offense?
I'm not with you. It was not a serious offense. It was plain protesting against economic boycotting shops. That's what it was, if I recall. You know, it happened more than 25 years ago.
Yes. Advocate Ackermann, if I may just interpose again, did they not want you to charge him in connection with a terrorism?
If there is some under the Terrorism Act, it must be the economic crime. I can't recall what the Terrorism Act said about it, but if there is a section under terrorism saying to boycott shops, it might be that count, but it was not a high treason count or something serious that I regarded as serious.
Mr. Vani, you can come to his assistance. It does appear on page 62 of the transcript.
Yes, thanks, Chair. I was going to offer to read that into the
Yes.
record. I think it will help us. So at the bottom of page 61, Mr. Ackerman, you asked to read from a paragraph 5 of a certain document. My team will identify that document. You say you have not read it in a long time. I found it amongst the file in my office, and it quotes, "It says that in the 80s, Mr. Ackerman was instructed to manage another high-profile prosecution on behalf of the apartheid government. Mr. Alan Busak, a well-known anti-apartheid activist for the Contravention of Terrorism Act. After he drafted an indictment, it became apparent that the government wanted to make a political point through the prosecution. They insisted that the prosecution proceed on the basis of a grand conspiracy, which would include all the prominent apartheid movements, including the internal UDF. Mr. Ackerman refused. His decision was based on sound legal principles. In a series of meetings with the highest political figures in South Africa at the time, including State President P.W. Botha, he maintained his point of view. Another prosecutor was then identified to prosecute the matter. A year later, the investigation into this conspiracy trial was abandoned. Does that jog your memory?
Chair, that is proof that my brain is slow.
So does that capture an answer to my question as Mr. Vani has put it? Simple
That
and
is correct.
straightforward. Okay.
I can't even recall what I said yesterday.
Thank you, Commissioner Khama. Lastly, on this accusation that has been made against you, I want to read a portion of an extract from the letter of George Bezos, dated 14th January 1998. It's in bundle 3 at page 30. I'm not going to read the whole letter to save time, but he is...
But do you have to go there, because he pointed it out as one of the justifications that he was not partial, but impartial. But maybe I must allow you to do that. Yes, okay.
Perhaps, Chair, I'll just put one short line to him. Bezos writes, I have always singled him out, him being you, as the outstanding exception amongst those who thought that protecting the police was more important than serving justice. Now, in the light of what George Bezos, one of the most famous human rights lawyers in South Africa's history, says about you, what's your reaction to the fact that the accusation is made by Mr. Simelane that because you were such a well-known apartheid-era prosecutor, you had to be removed?
I'm not going to say it.
Sorry.
Yes.
If Mr. Vani reads the statement of Mr. Simelane, Mr. Simelane makes it very clear that it is a view that was held by DGs who were meeting somewhere. He has not said he holds that view.
Yes.
And Mr. Vani keeps writing on this narrative. That is Mr. Simelane who is calling Mr. Ackerman an apartheid prosecutor in the affidavit. It's a wrong narrative. You must give the proper evidence, not this narrative that is going on with.
Mr. Vani?
Chair, I think this point has been dealt with adequately. It has been put to Mr. Ackerman that this is the reason behind his removal. I just have one last question on this score.
Yes.
Mr. Ackerman, it was put to you by my learned friend from Mr. Simelane that...
Mr. Simelane, Mr. Masuku.
My learned friend from Mr. Simelane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Who is Mr. Masuku? That you, just like young white conscientious objectors refused to go to the army, you should have refused to serve in the NPA.
I think that is not correct, Mr. Vani.
I stand to be corrected,
Yes.
Chair. Well, in any event, the assertion put to you is that those who served the apartheid state in institutions like the NPA are
Yes,
effectively...
but also, he said, I was 24 years old. I had the bursary. Should I have resigned? I think when the issue of conscientious or objection came up, is it not adequate?
Yes, it is adequate, but that's not my question, Commissioner.
You're making a different point, lawyers would say.
Yes,
okay,
indeed.
make that different point.
Thank you, Commissioner. The proposition that those who served who were loyal servants of the apartheid state, in the sense that they served during the apartheid era in the NPA or the magistrates court or the judiciary, would it be fair to say that they were all loyal servants of the apartheid state and should be tainted with that brush?
You know, I told you, I don't know what you... Can you repeat it, please? My mind is a blank.
Yes. You, for example, you gave the example of Justice Pius Langa, who had served as a prosecutor and a magistrate in the apartheid era. Now, the suggestion is that those who served in such capacities were loyal servants of the apartheid state. Is that a fair assumption to make?
No, that's why I read out his curriculum vitae where he worked. I mean, he also worked for this. He was also an apartheid prosecutor and an apartheid magistrate. He didn't resign. But there are thousands. There must be millions of them.
Thank you, Advocate Ackerman.
No further questions.
Thank you.
Switch off your microphones.
Ms. Rantu? Advocate Ackerman, are you still in a position to proceed?
No.
Yes. Would you like us to adjourn for the day, Advocate Ackerman?
I appreciate it.
Ms. Rantu, you will proceed with the cross-examination of Advocate Ackerman tomorrow morning
Noted, Commissioners.
at 9 o'clock. These proceedings are adjourned until tomorrow at 9 o'clock.